Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this tutorial we are going to learn about how to use Selenium Grid 4 from scratch. There are three topics we are going to cover today in order to learn how to use Selenium Grid. The very first step we will do is we will create a new Maven project. We will add Selenium dependencies in pom.xml file so that the required dependent jar files gets downloaded automatically in our project. We will download Chrome WebDriver. We will create a simple test case to launch Chrome and then navigate to google.com and search some text. So after creating the test case, we will go to selenium.dev website and download Selenium Grid 4. We will show you how you can configure your environmental variables so that Selenium Grid automatically detects how many web drivers you have in your system, and that can be used without referencing or hard coding anything. Once we update our environmental variables, we will move on to the next step and create our local machine as hub and node, and I'll show you how these node and hubs communicate to each other in order to execute test cases via remote WebDriver. So let us start developing our project. Let's start by downloading whatever software is required in order to achieve our objective. So for that we would first download Selenium Grid, then we will download Chrome WebDriver. I'm going to my browser now, and I will go to google.com. I'll go to Selenium website, selenium.dev. Let's go to Selenium's website. Let's go to the downloads web page. As you can see, there is a new version, Selenium 4.1.0 were released. Let's download this server and save to our local machine. So Selenium server is downloaded. Let's also download Chrome WebDriver. So before downloading Chrome WebDriver, let's first verify what version of Chrome we are using in my local machine. So let me search what version I have in my machine. Since I have Chrome version 96, I will go to this particular link, and depending on my machine's configuration, I will have to download required Chrome WebDriver. Since I am using Apple M1 chip Mac OS operating system, so I will download this particular zip file. If you're running Windows operating system, then you can use this particular WebDriver. Let's collect whatever softwares we have downloaded into a folder. So we have downloaded Chrome WebDriver and Selenium Grid 4. So let me go to download folder. I'll right click and click on show in Finder. Let us copy these two files into a folder to better manage whatever softwares or files we are downloading. So let's copy this, and I'll go to Finder, and I will go to drivers folder, which I have created to keep all my jars and driver files. So I'll paste it over here. Let me extract Chrome driver. So the driver was successfully extracted. I'll delete this particular file. So once we extracted the file, if we are working on a Mac operating system, then we have to change the mode of operating this particular driver. This is applicable only for Mac or Linux operating system. So let me go to terminal, and then I will navigate to the folder where this file is located. So cd driver, and we will see what are the softwares available in this folder. So I see chromedriver and Selenium server. Let's change how this file is going to operate. Change mode C755 and chromedriver. So this will change the way this particular file will be accessed by the system. So let's start Eclipse. I'll click on launch. Let's create a simple Maven project. So I'll click on file, go to new, click on others. Under Maven folder, you will find Maven project. So I'll click on Maven project, click next. Let's try to create a simple project. Since it's a demo project, I will provide group ID as com.quality-engineer and then I will provide this as Selenium for grid demo. I'll click on finish. This will build a project in Eclipse IDE. Let's expand this folder, and I'll find a file called pom.xml. In this using this file, we can download whatever softwares we would need to run this project. So since we are working on Selenium, we can add Selenium dependencies in this XML file, so that Maven takes care of downloading those related jar files from internet. So let me show you how we can download it. I'll do it like dependencies. Let's go to Google and search for Maven Selenium dependencies. So I'll go to Firefox. I will navigate to google.com. I will search keyword called Maven Selenium. It will bring me to a website. Let me click on that. If you see, since I have searched Selenium on Maven repository, I will click on Selenium Java. As you can see, there are new version of Selenium launched. So let's take the new version and copy this particular code, Control C, and I'll paste it over here under dependencies tab, and I'll save it. After adding these files, what we can do is like right click on it, run as Maven install. What it will do is it will download the required jar files in our local system. So if you see, there is another folder created in our project called Maven dependencies. It has downloaded all the required softwares, which is actually the jar file. So see, Selenium related all jar files were downloaded. Let's create our first test case, which we had noted before. This is our simple test case. For that, we will go to Eclipse and go to this particular folder where I'll create a new package called test. Finish. I'll right click again on the package and I'll try to create a class. And I will also include main method. let's name this class file as Selenium Grid Demo. Let us start writing our code. So for that, I'll go to system dot set properties, where I'll put WebDriver's path. So here I would write WebDriver dot chrome dot driver, and exact path where I have kept my Chrome executables. So let us go back to our folder, right click, I will copy the path. So my path to this file is here. I would put it over here like this, Chrome driver, and I will end it over here. Let's create WebDriver object. So WebDriver driver equals new Chrome driver. Let's import the required packages. Let's try to launch google.com. So for that, I will use driver object which we had just created to get google.com, https://www.google.com, and our test case is ready. Not completely ready. Let's first see if the Chrome gets launched or not. So I'll run this as a Java application project. I will click on OK. If you see, my machine is throwing an error message saying that Chrome driver can't be opened because Apple cannot check it for malicious software. So for that, I have some code using which you can instruct Mac operating system that do not recognize this as a malicious software. I have this code which I'll paste in the description section. Just copy this particular code, go to your terminal. If you are using Mac operating system, then only these steps are applicable, otherwise you can skip it, and navigate to the folder where you had kept this file. So I have kept this file in this folder. If you see, Chrome driver is kept over here. I'll right click and paste this code and click enter. Now what this code will do is this will instruct Apple that yes, these are clean software, do not recognize it as a malicious software. Let's go back to our code and run again to see if the browser is getting launched. Now you can see that we are successfully able to launch google.com, right? Now let's inspect what is the element. I see that name keyword is given over here as q. Let's go back to our code and write it like driver dot find element by dot name, and name was put as q, right? Let's go back to our file here. So name is q, and on send keys, and I will put it like Selenium Grid 4. Now I want to press enter. Instead of clicking on this item, what I will do is, after entering the data in this text file, in this text box, I will directly click on submit. So what I'll do is I'll copy paste this entire element, and then I will click on submit. So what it will do, let's run this code and you will be able to understand what is going on here, right? Right click, run as Java application, click on OK. So chromedriver is getting launched and Selenium Grid 4. This is our result, right? Let's close this Chrome for now. Let's maximize the window. Driver dot manage dot window dot maximize, and this will be our simple test script, right? And what I would like to do is I will paste this particular code over here. I'll also add a 3-second wait time so that it stays displayed. So what I'll do is thread.sleep 3000 milliseconds. So adding this line of code, we need to either put it into the try catch block or add a throw declaration. So I'll add throw declaration, and after that what I'll do is close the browser. So I'll not close, I'll quit it. Let's run this again. Now we can see that it's waiting for 3 seconds now, and it has closed the browser successfully. Now what's next? Now that we have prepared our test case, we have to start learning about how we can utilize Selenium Grid so that our test case connects to Selenium Grid for test execution. And for that we have to navigate to the folder where we have kept the Selenium Grid jar. So I have kept a Selenium Grid jar in drivers folder. In this folder we have to open terminal. In Windows machine you can use command prompt. So let me navigate to terminal, and you can see that I am in the drivers folder. Let me showcase like what is the current working directory in the terminal. So I am under this particular folder structure, and if I show you what are the files present in this directory, there are two. One is chromedriver and the other one is Selenium server. Let's initialize our Selenium Grid server. For that we will type in java -jar Selenium, and then in the end we'll have to type as hub and press enter. Same command needs to be used while you are working on the Windows machine. So in this way we are telling our computer that recognize this particular machine as a Selenium Grid hub, where any test case will connect to this particular hub for test execution. We have to note down an IP which has been displayed onto this window. Here is the IP of the hub server, and we will have to create a remote driver in our test case. So let's go back to our Eclipse window, and we'll note down this address. So what this address is Selenium hub was initialized on this particular IP against this port number. Now that we have initialized our Selenium Grid, we have to do two things. One is create a desired capability so that we can tell what browser we are going to use for test execution, and we have to create a remote WebDriver object using which we will connect to Selenium Grid Hub. So let's start doing it. I'll create a desired capability object. Name it as caps. And I'll add an object set properties, set browser name as Chrome. So what we are doing is we are creating a desired capability object using which I am telling this capability to add browser as Chrome. Now next is we have to create a WebDriver. Since we have already created a WebDriver, I'll comment this particular piece of code and we'll create a new one, WebDriver. Driver equals new remote web driver, and we have to start we have to provide two parameters into this class to instantiate it. The first one is the URL, where we want to connect the URL of the Grid Hub. So we have already noted that URL, right? Let's paste it over here. And then we have to pass on the capability which we have declared. So remote driver generally takes two set of parameters, first one of which is the URL where the hub is hosted, Selenium Grid Hub is hosted, and the second parameter is what type of browser we are using for test execution. Is it Chrome or Firefox and all that. Let's import this. Let's correct this error. Import java.net, and we have to also put it into a try catch block. We have to declare this driver at class level, so let's declare it. WebDriver equals, and I think we have to make it as a static one, so I will change the driver initialization as static. Now that we have what we have done is we have created a desired capability object, and we are telling this desired capability object that we are going to use Chrome browser for test execution. Using our remote WebDriver, we are connecting to a remote server which we had initialized in the previous section, which is here, and there the IP is this IP. Using this IP, remote driver are connecting to each other, and we are passing on what type of browser we are going to use for test execution. Now that our code is ready, we have to understand the Selenium Grid's architecture, and for that I will go to Firefox browser and show you Selenium Grid picture. So till now what we have done is we have written our test case in Eclipse. Using Eclipse, we are creating a remote WebDriver, and we're telling the remote driver that we should be using Chrome web browser for executing our test script. Now remoteDriver will connect to the IP which is shared with remoteDriver to the hub, and hub is responsible for connecting to the nodes which generally host the browsers. So since we have initialized our hub, we have to similarly initialize our node server, which generally responsible for the execution of the test script. So we are talking about three components here. The first component is the client where the test cases are kept, the hub server which generally responsible for connecting to the nodes where the web's browsers are present. So now that we have understood the Selenium Grid architecture, we have to configure our driver folder where we have kept our drivers in environmental variables, so that the node servers automatically detects where the chromedriver or Firefox driver or any different drivers we are keeping in the drivers folder. We don't need to initialize it one by one. System automatically detects what drivers are present in our system, and for that what we can do is simply add our drivers folder in our environmental variables. In Windows machine it is fairly easy. You can simply go ahead and Google it, like how to add a specific folder and its content in the environmental variables. So let me show you. Adding a folder in environment variable path. You just click on this particular link. You will find the step-by-step guide. It's fairly easy. As soon as you are onto environmental variables link, you just go to this particular folder and click on new. The path, click on edit. First select the path in environmental variables and then click on edit, and just add your path, right? So suppose your path in Windows machine is like D drive. Under D drive you have drivers folder, so you just need to add this particular path into your path in this section. And for Mac machine or a Linux machine, we have to do a bit of work to add a particular folder under environmental variables. So in my machine, the drivers are kept onto this particular driver folder path. So I would like to add this particular path in environmental variables. And to update in environmental variables, you have to use some commands. Let's copy this particular path details and go to terminal, and let's try to edit one of the zprofile file. So for that, let's type in open -e dot zprofile. Okay, what it will do, it will open a file, and we have to simply paste this particular file, the command which we have seen over here. Okay, and then simply save it and close it. Once you're done with it, you would be able to see like this particular information is stored in zprofile file, right? To commit this particular change, what you have to do is you have to write one more command called surce source, and then the file name. The file name was zprofile. So I have entered like this. Now let's see what is written in the path. So what I'll do is I'll type echo $path. So you see, like, this particular path has been added to my environmental variables. Now let's go back to the terminal and start our server again. Okay, what I'll do is I'll simply go. So what I'll do is I'll navigate to drivers folder. I'll type java -jar selenium and as hub first, and the IP remains same. Again, I'll create a new terminal session, and I'll simply type java -jar selenium and as node, and you see that Chrome is getting added as one of the browser, so that the remote driver can use this particular file as a Chrome web driver. And now you simply go to the Eclipse and run your test case. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have liked this video, please subscribe to my channel. It will help me in making more new videos in future. Thank you so much once again.